We're connecting with Hamish. Hola otra vez. Hello again. And hopefully he will show up in a second. Yeah. Oh my God, you scared the hell out of me.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Anna's watching me from somewhere else.
That was no, I was just going to say, thank God Anna is there. Did she save you?
She saved me, as always.
Of course. So please give her a really big hug from us.
You know, I can't think of anybody I'd rather be locked down with.
Nothing to say sorry about, Anna. Nothing to say sorry about. She just wrote there, sorry. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for coming, finally. Thank God.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me, my good friend.
You?
I'm very well, really well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How things are there right now?
It's fine till you go outside. You know, when you're in your home, everything's fine. You go outside, it's very quiet. Everybody's, you know, like just not the distance between people, not just physically, but emotionally is very strange. You know, you just feel as if everybody's like, as if you've got, even if like 99% of people are well, everybody's acting as if everybody's got some deadly disease.
Oh, yeah.
Which is difficult. It's difficult.
It's so much fear.
Yeah, a lot of fear. So that's what it's like. You know, I go out quite a lot. I walk the dog. I go for a run. You know, so go to the Shah, do some painting. So I'm quite busy.
Yeah, it's good that you can go out. I mean, that makes a big difference. And
yeah, totally.
You called me the other day on one of your walks around. It was a lot of nature around. Where was it?
Yeah, we live in Crouch End in North London, and there's lots of trees.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's raining just now, but it's been amazingly blue skies, sunshine. You know, we have more wildlife now. I think that, you know, the wildlife are coming out because there's not so many people. So that's really nice to see things, you know?
Yeah, someone sent us a video yesterday from a wild boar, and it was running in this right next to our shala in the middle of the city.
Wow, that is amazing.
I know. I mean, I think for nature it's going to be incredible. Like, there's many positive things that we can
for sure.
Anyway, so for the people, because I'm sure many people is the first time that they connect live today because they want to see you, but they probably don't know what we've been doing. So I'm just going to do a quick explanation. So
go for it.
What we've been doing is meeting every day at 7:30 when we have a guest, or a very important guest like Hamish is 7:15. So we have a little bit more time, and we've been doing something very simple. Just read a text that we find inspiring, share a little bit our view on the text and why did we choose the text or whatever. Then we do a couple of rounds of Nadi Sodana. One round is guided, the other one is in silence. And then we share 5 minutes of silence, just paying the attention of the breath. So we do something in a way, a scale to stop, then stop a little more, and then stop completely. And that's what we've been doing. And so today you have a text or two that you want to share with us?
Yes, yeah, I've got two and a bit, really. So I'm going to start with William Blake, who I share the same birthday with, and he's quite an amazing person because he was a poet and an artist. And one of his most famous poems starts off with this. And to me, it reminds me of how I see the world.
Okay, that's really nice.
To see the world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. So I like that because we tend to think of time as something that has a beginning and an end, a past, a present, and a future. But in this poem, it's saying that, you know, now is eternal. Everything is happening now. The past and the future is happening now. So I really like that expression of what time is to me. The second one, I was trying to get Talia to read it in Spanish, but she didn't want to do it. But I'm going to read it in English. Okay. I don't have the guts to do it in Spanish, but I could try if you want me to. Anyway, it's called The Witness. It's by Jorge Luis Borges. Is that how you pronounce it?
Jorge Luis Borges. Yeah.
Yeah, it's from Argentina. Yeah. When I was younger, obviously I went to school, but I skipped a lot of school and did some bad stuff. And so I didn't get a very good education. It took me a long time to sort of find ways of learning, and short stories really helped me. And Borges is, I think, is one of the world's greatest short story writers. So I've taken one of his, I guess you call it a short story. It's just one paragraph of a short story called The Witness.
Okay.
And I'll explain afterwards why it means so much to me.
Okay. Okay.
In a stable, lying almost in the shadow of a new stone church, a man with grey eyes and a grey beard stretched on the ground amidst the animals' smell, meekly seeks death like someone seeking sleep. The day, faithful to vast secrets, continuously displaces and confounds the shadows in the wretched stable. Outside stretch the tilled fields, a deep ditch filled up with dead leaves, and the tracks of a wolf in the black mud where the woods begin. The man sleeps and dreams, forgotten. The bells calling to prayer awaken him. In the kingdoms of England, the sound of the bells is already one of customs of the afternoon. But the man, while still a boy, has seen the face of Odin, had seen holy dread and exaltation, had seen the rude wooden idol weighed down with Roman coins and heavy vestments, seen the sacrifice of horses, dogs, and prisoners. Before dawn, he would be dead. With him would die, never to return, the last first-hand images of the pagan rites. The world would be a poorer when this Saxon was no more. So it's quite a sad short story, really, about the last pagan, the last Saxon, and when he dies, the last of his religion dies. There's a variety of things that I like about it. It starts in a stable, just like Jesus Christ started in a stable. There's a lot of nature in it, which obviously nature is a big thing for me, but also how, you know, as human beings or as a human race, we're always trying to contain, to fight against, to suppress nature. We're not like getting on with it, really. There's a line in it about the day, and it has secrets. So nature has so many things that we don't understand, and we're trying to understand them. And in a way, it's best just to let things be without trying to understand them. We can't understand everything. We're trying to always find order. And nature doesn't have order. There's a line in it about a wolf. Yeah. The wolf, beautiful animal, but it also represents fear. And fear is something that is always in our mind, you know, particularly when we're doing kapotasana or some other painful asana that we have. The more difficult the asana, the more fear we have. You know, we can't really control our environment or what's happening around us, but we can control our response. And that's really important. We don't always have to respond in the way that immediately comes to mind. If we take a deep breath, maybe we can respond in a different way. What's important about the death of this man in the story is that he's unique. He's the last. And in a way, every single person is unique. Everybody has learned all sorts of things up to now, so that, you know, when we practice, when we do our yoga, everything that we've learned, not just from our teachers, but from when we were a baby, from when we learned to crawl, through our school, through our friends, that affects how we practice. And so every single person is unique, even if you feel you're not special, you are incredibly special. And oh, here's the dog. Anyway, the big thing about it is the whole idea of time. You know, time passing and somebody dying, and it reminds me very much of that very, very famous shloka. Actually, it's not in Shloka Meter, but in a very famous phrase in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 11:32. And Arjuna asks 15 questions in the Bhagavad Gita. And one of the questions, you know, if we paraphrase it, is like, Krishna, who are you really? Who the fuck are you? And
yes, with those words.
Well, maybe he would have said it, you know, but obviously somebody's made it. Sanskrit. The word Sanskrit means to polish. So the Bhagavad Gita is being polished from what Arjuna might have actually said. So who are you really? And it's an interesting question because, you know, in India, there's so many gods. There's a god for everybody. And Arjuna wants to know who he really is. And Krishna says, I have become time. I am Kalo. And the feminine of Kalo is Kali. So God is really time, you know, so that whole thing going back to that, like holding eternity in an hour, the world in a grain of sand. That is what Krishna is representing. He is time. So that's how I see that particular short story, really. And I really love stories. I love the way they convey messages to people. The fact that, you know, in this particular story, I've read it word for word. But in something like the Mahabharata, which I've been doing in my blog recently, it's you know, there's no definitive like edition of the Mahabharata. Every single person has got a slightly different variation of it. You know, you do it in North India, it's told in one way. You do it in South India, it's in another way. There's so many little variations. And there's a little famous story at the end about a mongoose. And the mongoose arrives in our story when Yudhishthira, who is the leader of the good guys, to make it simple, really. He's about to become king, and he's doing this massive, massive puja, and he's giving away so much charity. He's like the best king in the world. He's doing this puja, and there's a big fire. I mean, we've all been to pujas. There's smoke. His eyes are going completely red. He's desperate for some food. And the mongoose walks in, and the mongoose is half gold. And the mongoose rolls in the ashes of the puja. And the mongoose turns and he looks at his grey side, and he's like, and he's depressed. And so the Brahmins and the sages, they say to the mongoose, obviously mongooses talk in them days, and the mongoose says, what's up? Why are you half gold, and why are you depressed? And the mongoose says, well, long time ago, I went to a puja of this poor Brahmin, and he'd been cooking some food, and a guest had arrived, and so, as was normal, he gave the guest his food. But because he was poor, the Brahmin didn't have any food for himself, so the Brahmin was starving. And the mongoose rolls in the dust of the fire from this poor Brahmin, and he gets a body half gold. And so then when he goes to Yudhishthira's puja, he's expecting, well, I've been to this one puja, now I'm going to this grand puja, where this guy has been giving so much charity, I should become all gold. And he doesn't become all gold. And the reason behind this story is there's two things happening. There's rules. So Yudhishthira has followed all the rules. He's done exactly what is required of him to do and give so much to charity, but it's to become a king. So there's something that in it for him, okay? There's always that question that we have, what's in it for me? Yeah. And so the difference is the rules and Dharma. So the poor Brahmin followed Dharma. He gave everything he had, expecting nothing in return. Whereas Yudhishthira still gave lots, but he was expecting something in return. So we have following the rules or following the letter of the law, and Dharma, which is following the spirit of the law. And when we practice our yoga, when we first learn, we're like Vishnu has lots of different incarnations, and one of his incarnations is Parashurama. Parashurama is he's a warrior, and he's incredibly strict. So when we first learn our practice, we're like really strict with every single breath, measuring it out, being in total control, learning the names, getting the pronunciation exactly correct. We're like, this yoga really suits those people who like that perfection.
Yeah.
So Parashurama is the perfectionist. And then after some time, we get a balance, and our breathing is softer. Our practice more represents us than just following the rules. And then we're in a stage of Rama. And then after that, after we've been doing that for about 10 years, we're able to adapt our practice to our mistakes, our injuries, the day that whatever it throws at us, and then we're able to use what we've learned from our practice to teach others, and then we become Krishna in that sense. So it's like our progression through our practice is a bit like the progression of avatars of Vishnu in that sense.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So that's my stories. I've done William Blake, Borges, a little bit of the Bhagavad Gita, and a little bit of the Mahabharata. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's always very nice listening to you.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you know, it's I know a lot of people, but I have very few good friends, and you are my good friends.
Oh, thank you. You are our friend also.
Yes. Thank you for doing this. And
Pleasure. Did you
so,
have questions about it all?
Do you have?
well, I mean, we're a little bit short of time, but before we start with the breathing, I do want to ask you because I got a little bit with the Borges test, which is
Yeah.
talking about death, and death is very present right now. I mean, it's present always, but for some reason,
Of course.
you know. And yesterday, actually, Rafa read a beautiful text as well about death from the Tibetan Book of Death and Life.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I just wonder if you picked up that bit, having in mind what is happening, and if you want to talk a little bit more about.
I think death is the Mahaguru.
Yeah.
You know, I think we need to think about, even when this is finished, we should be mindful that death is our teacher. And, you know, when I remember when Anna lost her father, and obviously it was a very emotional time for her and her family and other people, but it really brings out the truth for a lot of people. And hopefully people can learn from that. When you have somebody close to you die, you know, you learn so much about yourself, your friends, what's important in life,
Yeah.
what's of value, how short life is, just to experience it, you know, right now.
Yeah. What we were talking about yesterday was how we spend our life denying death instead of preparing for it. Like we want consciousness only about life, but how about being preparing to have a conscious death as well?
That would be very good. I mean, in the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about that in chapter 8 about remembering. You know, what you think about when you die is where you go, supposedly.
Yeah.
So the idea is that as we don't know when we're going to die, is you're meant to think about Rama, Krishna, whoever you want to think about all the time, so that you're ready just in case. You know, a bit like having clean underpants on. Yeah, it's the same idea. But in the Mahabharata, there's a famous section which I'm going to do probably tomorrow on my blog, where a spirit asks Yudhishthira, you know, what is really, it's a really famous one, what's the most important thing in life? And he says that everywhere we go, we see death and destruction all around us, and yet we don't think it's going to happen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and that's one of the amazing things about this practice. It does sort of make you feel slightly immortal. You know, so that's an interesting thing, really. But I think, yeah, we need to keep death as our teacher. It's really, really, you know, and make it our friend too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
So pleasure to be with you guys.
Yes. Do you want to stay for the breathing, or you have stuff to do? And we keep.
No, I'll stay. You can do the breathing. I'll breathe with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So you can practice a little bit of the breathing and practice a little bit of the Spanish for the same price, Hamish.
Go there.
Same price. Okay, so we're gonna do one round today.
Okay.
And then we'll sit quietly for a little while. Okay. So Rafa is gonna guide.
So what we do first is 5 deep breaths, and then we start with one round of Nadi Sodhana. Okay. Okay. Inhala. Exhala. Inhala. Exhala. Inhala. Exhala. Inhala. Exhala. Inhala. Exhala. Coloca la mano derecha tapando el orificio derecho. Inhala por el izquierdo.
Inhale through left.
Tapa. Exhala por el derecho.
Exhale through right.
Tapa. Inhala por el izquierdo.
Inhale through left.
Tapa. Exhala por el derecho.
Exhale through right.
Tapa. Inhala por el izquierdo.
Through left.
Tapa. Exhala por el derecho.
Exhale right. 2 more times.
Tapa. Inhala por el izquierdo. Tapa. Exhala por el derecho. Tapa. Inhala por el izquierdo. Tapa. Exhala por el derecho. Cambiamos el sentido. Inhala por el derecho.
Now inhale through right.
Tapa. Exhala por el izquierdo.
Exhale through left 4 times.
Inhala por el derecho. Exhala por el izquierdo. Inhala por el derecho. Exhala por el izquierdo. Inhala por el derecho. Exhala por el izquierdo. Último. Inhala por el derecho. Exhala por el izquierdo. Okay.
Okay, and now we go straight into sitting in silence for 6 minutes. Usually we suggest people, if they want, to keep a connection inside, to connect with their hearts, to have present all the people who are helping in the situation, all the people who are suffering, and try to keep the connection with themselves and try to keep the connection with others and just breathe in silence. But I'm sure you have, if you have any other ideas, anything you want to suggest.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. Just keep everybody in your heart, really. That's it, and send out blessings to everybody.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to start. After 3 minutes, I will hit one gong for people who are not so used to stop. If it's too much, they can stop in 3 minutes. And then after 6 minutes, I will hit the second one. So inhale deep. Exhale, and we start. This is 3 minutes. We tried 3 more. Okay, so that was 6 minutes. And meanwhile, Hamish is gone. So I think we will call him to say goodbye and thank you. We wanted to do it live, but probably he was in a rush to get out of Instagram, which I'm sure he's going to do the second this finished. Let me see. Yeah, there he is. Okay. So we were going to say goodbye. We have still 2 or 3 minutes.
I'm back.
Where the hell did you go?
I don't know. My phone started meditating. And I was there. I opened my eyes, and it was like, "Well, where's everybody come?"
I was just telling people you were probably getting out of Instagram in this second.
Not yet. I think we've got a lockdown for another 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, you'll have me on Instagram for a little bit more.
You can handle it. If I can handle it, I can handle it.
Do you know my one big worry is that we'll all end up being zombies.
I know. No, but we won't. I know you talked to me about that the other day, but I'm sure it won't. That's not going to happen. There's something super authentic about what happens in a sala.
Yeah, not zombies, but zombies.
I know. I got it. I'm more than a pretty face, Hamish. I got that.
All right. I love you guys.
Thank you so much. We really love you. Thank you.
Oh, same. All right.
Thank you for showing up and for your friendship, okay?
Yeah.
And give our love to Anna. Anna, we know you're there. We can hear you breathing.
Oh,
no, that's your dog.
Oh, that's so cute. So cute.
There you are.
So cute.
Yeah,
Okay.
animals don't get it, do they? All right.
We'll talk soon. Take care.
Yeah, will do, mate. Look after yourself. Bye now.
Love
Bye.
you and miss you too, Anna.
Love you.
Wow. Bye.